What is up, NBA fantasy basketball fans? This is NBA Fantasy Focus. Here to recap November 15, 12 games on the NBA slate. Action packed as usual. Let's get in to the first game on the stage. We had Miami winning in Indiana. Indiana drops to 5-7. 30 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Bam Adebayo did work. Amazing stat line. Had 5 steals as well. Baller and 20 points, 5 and 3 from Scary Terry. He did work as well. Kevin Love, pretty serviceable, 15-7. I don't recommend picking him up. Haywood Haysmith, 14 points. And Tyler Hero, for him, that's been a quiet night. Only 20-5, 3 assists, 2 trays. For the bench, Nikola Jovic was decent with 11-6, and Jaime Jaquez had 10-5. For the Pacers side of things, Halliburton was fairly solid, 18-8. He got off to a hot start, had 4 threes, and then just cooled off. Siakam was pretty quiet, 14-5-2. Miles Turner as well, 9-5-2. And Benedict Mathurin, slow game for him, 8-4. And Ben Shippard started. He had 8-4-4 for the Pacers. Off the bench, Obi Toppin did his thing. He had 21. Jarace Walker, who I like, had 11-7, 4-2-1. I would keep an eye on him. TJ McConnell was solid as well, 14-4 off the bench, 6 of 10 shooting. And Pacers dropped to 5-7. Miami moves along to 5-6 without Jimmy Butler. And next up, we have Philadelphia visiting the Magic. Magic shorthanded without Paolo Banchero. 76ers shorthanded without Tyrese Maxey. And the Magic pull away in the fourth, take this one 98-86. 76ers dropped to 2-10. Just pathetic. Embiid was okay with 20-8, but the shooting was poor from the field. 6 turnovers, not good. Jared McCain, the rookie, has been a revelation. 29 points, 5 threes, wonderful shooting. I'd like to see him starting the whole year. Paul George was okay. He had 4 steals, 13 points, poor shooting, and 3 trays. Kyle Lowry didn't do much, as did Caleb Martin. The bench was non-existent. Kelly Oubre didn't do anything, 5 points. Ersan Yabusele, only 4. And this is just a sinking ship with the Philadelphia 76ers. Orlando, led by Franz Wagner, he had 31, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 5 threes. He's shooting really well compared to last year from beyond the arc. Jalen Suggs was solid, 19-7, 3 assists, steal, block, and a 3. Goga was pretty quiet, only played 27 minutes, 2-4. Off the bench, Mo Wagner had 14, 4-2. And Isaac was solid with 11-9. And 1 steal, 1 block, 1 tray. He's not a bad roto option, but overall, in head-to-head, I would stay away. And let's move along. The Detroit Pistons visiting the Toronto Raptors. Raptors majorly shorthanded. No Barnes, no Quickly. They lose 99-95 in a close game. Pistons come back in the fourth, take it by 4. Malik Beasley, 4 trays, 20 points, solid stream. Cade Cunningham couldn't shoot, but he did have 15, 10-6, 2 trays. Jaden Ivey, solid, 14-5-2. Tobias Harris, still quiet, 11-11, is okay, but the shooting is horrendous. Jalen Dern, underperforming as well. 12-8. I would say he's a buy low, but don't pay too much. Ron Holland had 10-8 off the bench. Poor shooting. And that pretty much sums it up for the Detroit side of things. To the Toronto Raptors, big game. Jakob Poeltl, 15-8. 3 blocks, 12 of 20 shooting. Free throws were crap, but we'll We'll live with that. 22 for RJ Barrett. 7 and 6. Solid night for him, minus the shooting. Ochai Agbaji, 9, 3 and 2. Poor shooting. And Grady Dick had 16 and 5. And you guessed it, poor shooting. Davion Mitchell, decent stream option, 5, 6 and 5. Had 3 steals. Poor shooting. This whole Raptors team can't shoot right now. Off the bench, they had Boucher with 2 and 7, and Jamison Battle had 9. And the Raptors are struggling, 2 and 11, 2 and 4 at home, have not won on the road. Pistons are a respectable 6 and 8, and I think JB Bickerstaff has definitely made a difference in reality and in fantasy. So let's move along. Okay, we have the Washington Wizards visiting the Atlanta Hawks. Hawks take this 129-117. Wizards were led by Jordan Poole, 22, 5 and 5, 4 trays. Been really good this year. I don't think he's a sell-high candidate. Kyle Kuzma, 24 and 9. Horrendous shooting, but it's Kyle Kuzma, so you take it and run. Alex Sarr, monster game. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 blocks, and 3 threes for the rookie. I think he's got top 60, top 70 potential down the road. I would not be looking to trade him. Bilal Coulibaly has slowed down a little bit. Did have 9, 9, and 5, 2 steals, and only taken 11 shots. I would like to see more of that. Bob Carrington, 7 and 9, 5 rebounds, no turnovers, pretty solid night. Keyshawn George, he's been really good off the bench for the Wizards, 13, 5 and 4. And Corey Kispert pitched in with 16 and 5, 4 threes. Jonas Valanciunas, only 17 minutes. Very disappointing, 6 and 5. Not sure why the Wizards are only giving him that many minutes, but it's the Wizards. And then for the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young didn't do all that much. He only had 18 and 9, 6 turnovers. Still a little banged up, I would say. Dyson Daniels, the thief, the great barrier thief, 25, 6 steals, 2 blocks, 2 trays. Easily the steal of all fantasy drafts. Clint Capella was solid, 10 and 13. Jalen Johnson's been doing his thing the last few weeks. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 blocks, and a 3. Risa Shea had 11 and 2, but his shooting was not the greatest. Off the bench, DeAndre Hunter, he returned. I don't recommend him. He had 22 with 3 trays. Okongwu stepped up, 13 and 13, 2 blocks, 2 steals. And Garrison Matthews pitched in with 12 and 2 threes. And Wizards drop to 2 and 9. Hawks are respectable, 6 and 7 now. And we're going to move along. All right, we have the Bulls visiting undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers. And this was a close game. The score does not represent how close it was. 144-126. Cleveland 14 and 0. Crazy run at the end to take a little bit of a substantial lead, but Bulls had a lot of fight in them. Kobe White, 29.6 threes. Vucevic, 25 and 8, 2 threes. Patrick Williams been really solid lately, 17, 9 assists, 4 threes. Wow, great production. Zach LaVine was horrendous. He did have 9 dimes, 4-16 shooting. And Josh Giddey, really disappointing lately. Only 5 and 3. Only played 15 minutes. Off the bench, Jalen Terry had 6. Jalen Smith had 6. And Ayo Dosunmu took a lot of the minutes from Josh Giddey at 15, 5 and 4 with 2 threes. Cleveland, led by Don Mitch, monster game, 37 points, 7 threes, 7 and 4. He's been a beast. A little bit of a slow start, I would say, but nothing to fret about. Darius Garland's been great this year, 29 and 9, 4 threes, great shooting. Jared Allen, Mr. Double-Double, 24 and 10, 3 steals, 2 blocks, great shooting. And Evan Mobley missed this game. George Niang filled in at 14 and 8, 4 trays, respectable. Off the bench for Cleveland, Karis LeVert had a very nice game. 22, 8 and 3, 4 threes. And for the rest of the bench, Ty Jerome at 7 and 4. Very, very low end option there. Okay, next up, we have the Battle of New York City. Brooklyn comes back, makes this a game. Knicks 124, Brooklyn 122. Big block by Mikal Bridges to save the game for the Knicks. Cam Thomas went on 143. Had been quiet lately. 7 threes, 14 and 8 from Schroeder. Terrible shooting, but that's okay. Cam Johnson was not the greatest, but he had 17 and 5. Dorian Finney-Smith filled in for Nick Claxton, had 15 and 4 and 3, pretty serviceable with the 4 threes. Off the bench, Zaire Williams had 9 and 8, and Jalen Wilson had 6 and 2, respectively. Let's take a look at the New York Knicks. 22, 5 and 4 for Bridges, 4 threes, very solid. Played 41 minutes. OG, 25 and 8. Jericho Sims filled in for Julius Randle at 4 and 7. Oh, not Julius Randle. Karl Anthony Towns. This is 2024. Karl Anthony Towns missed the game. Jalen Brunson, big game, 37 points. Great shooting, 7 assists. Josh Hart, really solid, 14, 9 and 9, 2 steals. But a great value pick there. Cameron Payne off the bench for the Knicks, 10 and 3. And we're going to move along to the next game on the schedule. Lakers visiting the San Antonio Spurs. This was the ESPN game, and it came down to the wire. Lakers 120, 115. Spurs had a chance to tie, and they missed. And Lakers go on to take the 5-point win. This was dubbed as LeBron versus Wemby. LeBron had his triple-double. Very low usage, but he did get his 16 rebounds, 12 assists. Only took 12 shots, which was surprising. Anthony Davis, monster game, 40, 12. Wow, this guy just does not have bad games. 2 threes. Austin Rivers, very solid, 19 and 6, 5 threes. Dalton Knecht had a nice spot start, 14 points. And 13 off the bench for D'Lo, 6 assists, 3 steals, pretty solid. And 11 for Max Christie off the bench. Spurs led by Wembanyama, 28 and 14, 4 assists, 4 threes, 22 for Stephen Castle, the rookie. And Chris Paul pitched in with a double-double, 11 and 11. Julian Champagnie had 10 and 8. And off the bench, Vassell ramping up his minutes. He should be starting soon, had 15 and 5 with 3 threes. Keldon Johnson also had 12 points. 4 rebounds for the San Antonio Spurs. The Lakers moved to 8 and 4. Spurs dropped to a respectable 6 and 7. Next up, we have the second half of the doubleheader. Clippers visiting the Rockets. Rockets take it again handedly, 125, 104. Clippers didn't have much in this game. Harden had 21 and 6, 3 trays, but this was pretty much a blowout. Chris Dunn pitched in with 13, 2 and 2. And that's pretty much it. Horrible game from Norm Powell. And Zubac had 6 and 11, but not his usual standard. Coffey and Miller had 10 and 11 off the bench. Kevin Porter Jr. had 15. Don't recommend him. He's just way too volatile. And for the Rockets, Jabari Smith had a sighting, 28 and 11. I think he was getting dropped in quite a few leagues. 5 threes. Monster game for him. Dylan Brooks had 5 threes. Alpi Şengün, double or triple-double, pardon me. 16, 10, and 10. 2 steals, 2 blocks on only 9 shots. Fleet has had a couple of good games in a row now. 18 and 10, 7, 4 threes. Tari Eason, 17 and 6. Wonderful pickup. 2 steals and a block, 2 3. Amen Thompson was pretty solid, 12, 5, and 3. And that was pretty much it for the Houston side. Houston's 9 and 4. The clip joint dropped to 6 and 7. Okay, and the next up, we have the Denver Nuggets visiting the New Orleans Pelicans. Nuggets without Nikola Jokic, and it showed. They lost 101-94. Michael Porter was solid with 24 and 6 4 threes. Jamal Murray was pretty good too, 16, 8 and 6. Christian Braun's been a great waiver wire addition, 5 steals, 15 points. Gotta love that. And not much off the bench for Denver. For the Pels, they were led by Brandon Ingram, 29, 9 and 7. He is just beasting with all the starters out. Trey Murphy had 17 and 8. Brandon Boston, he's been a great waiver wire addition as well. 19, 4 and 4, 3 trays. And Yves Missi was okay with 6 and 12. Javonte Green, 9 points off the bench. It was James Robinson Earl was 6 and 8. Trey Jemison was 6 and 3. Jalen Noel pitched in with 7, 5 and 3. And that pretty much wraps it up for that game. So let's move along. And next up, we have Phoenix Suns visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Suns with no KD, no Beal, go down 99-83. OKC at home, 7-1 now, 11-2 overall. Very, very quiet game from Devin Booker, 12-4. Just got to chalk it up as one of those terrible games. Tyus Jones as well, just not anything to talk about. Yusuf Nurkic, 0 of 7. Josh Okogie was the lone bright spot, 15 and 9. I'm not sure if he's a stream option. I would wait and see on that. Ryan Dunn had 9 and 5. Royce O'Neal came off the bench, 11 and 7. Keeping the record books for this one, Thunder had 28, 6 and 4 from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Semi-quiet game for Jalen Williams, 14 and 8. Did have 2 steals, 2 blocks. And Lou Dort at 15 and 9. Isaiah Joe, 11 and 5. And for the bench, not too much to contribute. Aaron Wiggins had 8. And Ousmane Dieng had 7 and 5 off the bench. And we will move along to the next game on the slate. Okay. We have the shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies coming in to the Bay to face the Warriors. Warriors take this in a close one, 123-118. Grizz storm back in the final quarter to make it close. Jaren Jackson went off 6, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Wonderful there. Jalen Wells was solid with 16 and 4. The rest of the starters didn't do anything. Off the bench, Zach Edey, 14 and 9, 2 threes, pretty solid. Desmond Bane came back after an injury. He had 18 and 6. Good to see him back in action. Mark Smart had a respectable 9, 6 and 5 with 2 blocks. I would say he is a good option to pick up. And on the Warrior side, Draymond Green, 13, 8 and 7. 3 trays, did kick Zach Edey. He got a flagrant foul. This guy will never learn. And Stephen Curry was pretty quiet at 13, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 big steals, 3 trays. Only took 9 shots, but really efficient. Andrew Wiggins had 13 points on 14 shots. Not the greatest. Trace Jackson Davis is just disappointing, 9 and 6. I don't know if you can really keep him. Kuminga, disappointing as well. Buddy Hield has been having a solid year. He had his 4 threes, 18 points, and Moses Moody, 3 trays with 14 points. For the Warriors, 10 and 2 now. Grizz dropped to 7 and 6 without Ja. And we will move along to the final game on the schedule. T-Wolves visiting the Kings. Late night clash. This baby went to OT. Minnesota hangs on 130-126. Monster game from De'Aaron Fox. As for the Timberwolves, it was Anthony Edwards, 6 threes, 36 points. Not many steals or blocks, but we'll forgive him for that. Great shooting. Mike Conley, 14 and 7, 5 steals, 4 threes. Big game for him. 11 and 11, 3 blocks for Gobert. McDaniels, 3 steals and a block. He is a good defensive stats guy. I like him as a pickup. if available. Julius Randle, big game, 26, 5 and 4 with 2 threes. The bench mob for the Timberwolves were led by Naz Reid, 16 and 5, 2 threes. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, pretty solid, 10, 3 and 3. Dante DiVincenzo, very disappointing, only played 19 minutes, 3 and 3 and 2. I don't know what you do with him. I think you got to hold for now, but I wouldn't be too patient. Domantas Sabonis, 23, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, and a 60-piece from De'Aaron Fox, 6 trays, 7 assists, 3 steals. Did it all on 35 shots. Great game. Double-double for Keegan Murray. Alex Len didn't do too much in his spot start. Kevin Huerter didn't do too much either. Obviously, the Kings were missing DeRozan. And off the bench, they had 8 for McDermott, and Trey Lyles had 7 and 8. Not much from Keon Ellis in this game. So that pretty much wraps up a 12-game recap here. November 15th on the NBA fantasy schedule. Action-packed. Overtime thrillers, blowouts, you name it. And De'Aaron Fox puts up the line of the night for the Sacramento Kings. And I will be back tomorrow to do the recap for Saturday's slate in the NBA fantasy schedule. Would love if you would consider liking this video and also consider subscribing to the channel. And we will see everybody on the next episode of NBA Fantasy Focus.